Hello beautiful people. It's time to continue the hardest Final Fantasy X challenge ever made. In the last episode we finished Mushroom Rock Road, and in today's episode we are moving on to the Yose High Road. Just before we start, let's quickly go over the rules again. No sphere grid, no summons, no customize, no overdrives, no escape, no encounters, and no blitzball. That's it. I was kind of expecting this place to be a nightmare because Mushroom Rock Road was pretty hard already. But thankfully we got the Sleep Strike weapon for Yuna from the last boss, and Wakka also got the Stone Touch weapon from Owaka. It's always so satisfying when Wakka succeeds to petrify an enemy, especially the falling ones because they like fall down on the ground and break.
Well then, what next?
This guy also gives really important item for us, the soft ring for Yuna. This grants the stone proof ability. It's pretty useful in this area because there's these snakes that can petrify you, and Yuna will also use that for the last boss of the game actually. And here we have the hardest enemy in this area, and to be honest it's not exactly hard either because of the sleep strike. I think Yuna has 100% guarantee to sleep them, so they're pretty much nothing dangerous. Aside from that, you can use dark attack and slow on them, but the main thing is to get poison on them so they will kill themselves while they are sleeping, because the poison will tick down even though they are sleeping when they get their turn. So you can just wait after you poison them, or you can keep attacking at the same time. Either way they aren't that dangerous. So this is probably the more annoying fight in this area because of the Fanguars. They can counter you with pollen, which makes your party members go to sleep, but thankfully here again we have the sleep strike and we can just sleep them ourselves and then kill them off with Lulu's magic without waking them up. I completed Yose Temple and it was time to head over to Moonflow. But before that I wanted to kill some more basilisks here because they can drop a Stone Touch weapon. It only took a couple of battles until they dropped one for Kimahri, which I was really happy with, so then it was time to move on. Moonflow only has one new enemy, the Okhu. Thankfully he's really easy as well. You can just petrify him with Kimahri or Wakka. It might take a couple of attacks, but it will work eventually. And you can also use the Sleep Strike weapon with Yuna to keep him slept while you do that. Although he will wake up if you attack him, but you can time the attack so that Okhu never gets a turn really. So over on the Moonflow South Bank we have lots of weapon shops. These sell incredibly useful items such as the Serum Bracer for Auron, the Snake Head which has Poison Touch for Kimahri, and the White Bracer which is Auron's armor for one of the Seymour fights later. Nulltide Ring is useful as well. The Danger Arm Guard helps survive in random battles quite a lot, and the Blue Bracer for Auron, which has Water Ward, and it's his armor for, again, one of the Seymour fights. Then we have Dark Touch weapon for Auron. We also have Death Touch and Poison Touch weapons for Lulu. Both are pretty useful, and the Death Touch weapon is necessary really, but you can buy it from Quad Salam slightly cheaper, and I was running low on money right now, so I will buy it later. I didn't have enough money to buy everything I wanted, so I went back to grinding, and I actually got Poison Touch weapon for Auron, which is really nice as well. Before we can get to the other side of Moonflow, we have to defeat a boss. It's a pretty simple boss, but you have to fight it with Waka and Tidus only. It's weak to lightning, so Waka should have the lightning strike weapon and Tidus should have the slow touch weapon to inflict slow on the boss as soon as possible. You should also equip Dark Ward armors on both of your characters to make the fight a little bit more safer. So the boss has two attacks. One called Aqua Shooter, which deals 200 damage to one character and it's not an issue. But the other one is dangerous. At some point he will move upwards a little bit and you have a couple of turns to deal 500 damage to him, which will cancel his special attack, or if you don't have enough time he will use it and everyone will get dealt about 400 damage. And it can also inflict dark. This is why we equipped the Dark Ward armors. I tested this fight about 25 times and I never lost it thanks to the Dark Ward armors. Even when my slow didn't trigger on time, I had enough time to heal with high potions and finally deal the 500 damage to get him down again. This is also the reason why we got lightning strike weapon for Tidus in Luca, because he can deal much more damage to the boss after he has inflicted slow on him. Like I said, I did this boss about 25 times and that was because it can drop a armor with up to 3 different SOS null element abilities. Sadly the luck wasn't on my side and I only got armors with only one SOS null, so I gave up after that and just moved on. The drop that I settled with was null place bangle for Lulu. And finally we get the MVP of this challenge, Rikku. She is super useful. She can deal a lot of damage and she's super fast. She gets a lot more turns than everyone else and she's just great character all around. The reason why Rikku is so useful is because of her steal and use abilities. She can steal items from enemies and then use them to inflict various things. There's lots of different elemental damage items, status effect items, even buffs to your party members or heals. She has so many different use case scenarios you wouldn't believe it. So I got Antarctic Winds, which are 600 ice damage. Sleeping Powders deal 700 damage to everyone and inflict sleep. The nice thing about these status effect items as well is that if the enemy resists an status effect, like has some sort of resist, not immunity, it will always guarantee that status effect anyways, even if it has like 90% resist, it will guarantee it. So it's a very reliable way of dealing with status effects. Yuna's Sleep Strike weapon makes stealing a lot easier as well, because Yuna really won't kill anything, she will just inflict the sleep and they will be slept for 3 turns, I believe. So Rikku has some time to steal items carefree. The thing about stealing is that your first stolen item will be guaranteed, and after that the chance will halve every time. So like first one is 100%, then it's 50, 25, 12.5 and so on. So it's not really beneficial to steal more than like 3 to 4 per enemy. These bite bug enemies have a Poison Fang as a rare steal. Poison Fang deals like 2000 damage and inflicts poison, so you can probably see why that is really beneficial. As for the rare steals, I believe it's 1 in 8 chance to get the rare item whenever you successfully steal, so it's not really fast to get these, but they are so good, so I don't really mind grinding a lot of these here. These treasure chests can be stolen from as well. The rarest item from them is stamina tablet at 10% chance, but it's a really good item which doubles your max HP for one character. At this point I backtracked all the way back to Pisade and Kilika Island, stealing from every enemy that I could find, and I got loads and loads of useful items. I'm not gonna list them all here, I will show them all later, but most useful one is probably the petrify grenades and the fish scales. So I kept stealing and stealing for about 20 hours or something like that, and I maxed out all of the common steals, so I got 99 of those. I got a bunch of the rarer ones as well, such as the poison fangs and lightning marbles, dragon scales, silver hourglass, stamina tablets, and so on. I didn't bother maxing these out because there's much easier sources later. And so we arrive in Thunder Plains. I was pretty scared of this place, to be honest, but it turned out to be quite chill actually. You can just use petrify grenades on most of the enemies or Kivari and Wakka's stone touch weapons. The cold element is actually immune to petrify, so you have to deal with it using either Lulu's death touch or throwing fish scale with Rikku. Fish scale does 900 damage and Lulu's water will kill it after that. You can also use dragon scales to one hit kill it, but I feel like that's a waste of an item, so I opted to use the fish scales. These small dragons can one hit kill you if you give them turn, so it's better to kill them right away. I could have just used petrify grenade to kill all of them, but I didn't realize this at the time yet. Most things here use thunder element, as you can imagine, so Wakka's danger arm card with the SOS null shock makes him immune to most of the attacks in here. The Cactuars have a super useful item called Chocobo Feather. If Rikku uses it, it will grant haste to one party member, and this will be really beneficial in upcoming boss fights. Another useful item is Lunar Curtains from the larva enemy. They grant shell to one party member. At the halfway point you get access to this Rin travel agency which sells grenades, another item that Rikku can throw. It will deal about 350 damage to every enemy, and it's easy to get more of them, so it's a really useful item. Here we also get the yellow shield for Tidus, which has the lightning proof, making Tidus pretty good at the Thunder Plains. On the northern half of Thunder Plains we have a new enemy called Iron Giant. This enemy is pretty dangerous, but you can use Power Break on him to make his attacks deal much less damage. You can also sleep him, but the success rate isn't that great. One option is to use Dark Attack with Wakka to inflict darkness on him. You can also steal Light Curtains from him, which give you Protect on one character. Obviously Rikku can just use smoke bombs to deal dark or sleeping powders to deal sleep, but for some reason I was being really stingy with my items. I didn't want to waste them. If I had to do this again, I would probably use them a lot more. This is probably the closest I've been to dying this challenge so far. I don't know what happened here, but somehow I managed to make my way back from this situation. Just goes to show you how dangerous these enemies are getting if you don't play your cards right. In situations like these, it's really handy to have petrify grenades on hand, because you can just evaporate every enemy on the screen if they are susceptible to it. I stayed around this save point to Try to steal some chocobo feathers from the cactuars because I really want a healthy stock of those for upcoming boss fights and maybe some random enemies as well. These cactuars can be pretty dangerous as well if they don't decide to run away and use the 1000 needles attack. Here you can see they just KO'd 2 of my characters. Thankfully it was Rikku who was left alive so she could just finish them off with the silence grenade. The SOS regen armors that the Iron Giant drops can actually sell for quite a lot of gil at this point of the game. I actually managed to get one with 2 empty slots and got 22k for it. And now we are off to Macarena Woods. Let's go over the items first. So from Thunderplanes I got 99 light curtains, 99 lunar curtains and 25 chocobo feathers. That should last me quite a while. To be honest, Macalania Woods aren't that different from the Thunder Plains. You just switch in Rikku and throw a Petrify grenade to deal with the most of the fights. The elementals are once again immune to petrifies, but you can just throw a silence grenade to completely disarm them. You can even try to steal some fish scales from them if you want. With the chimeras you can just petrify them as well or use Lulu's death touch. You can actually steal Arctic winds from them, which is a better ice type item, which deals about 900 ice damage. I didn't bother stealing many of them, just a couple. Now this next weapon is really important. Oaka sells the Sonic Steel for Tidus, which has first strike. This guarantees that Tidus will get the first strike in every single battle, meaning we can put Tidus in the front row, then swap him for Rikku, and Rikku can start off every battle using some kind of item. Now it's time for the boss of Macalania Woods. This is the perfect boss to showcase how broken Rikku really is. She could probably fight this battle all by herself and still win by a landslide. So, first things first, we need to use all of the buffs on Rikku. So we start off with Chocobo Feather to give her haste. Then we use Light and Lunar Curtains to get Protect and Shell. The boss has only one elemental weakness and it's random. Whenever you attack the boss uses an spell that like counteracts the weakness. So for example, if he's weak to water, he will use thunder on you. And in order to find out this weakness, I'm just gonna use a poison fang on it to deal about 2000 damage, inflict poison, and now it should counter me with a spell, thunder, so it's weak to water. And as you can see, the physical attack dealt only a little bit over 100 on Rikku. So now we use Fish Scale to deal water damage on it, deals about 900, and it uses an elemental shift. Now the elemental weakness is different. Auron uses Power Break to make the boss deal less damage, and it counters with Blizzard, so we know it's weak to fire now. We use Bomb Fragment, 900 damage again, and the elemental weakness shifts again. Now I use Poison Fang to deal more damage and find out the weakness again. This continues on until the boss is basically dead. He has another move called Press, which deals percentual damage, much like Demi. I believe it's 25% damage, so it cannot really kill you. There's no no real danger here. You can even skip using the poison fangs. I just have so many of them, so I felt like I wanted to bully the boss a little bit. And it's dead already. Really easy. I think I got a pretty useful armor with ice and lightning ward for Yuna from him. Fun fact, after this boss, checked spears will spawn all over the world. So naturally, I decided to walk back to PC to grab the checked spear here. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. Also, if you talk to this guy on the ship and tell him there's 11 seagulls, he will give you a very weird weapon for Waka which increases your magic by like 30% overall, I think. There's no real use for this in this challenge, but I found it kind of funny that you can get this kind of weapon here. Anyways, it sells for like 20k. At the Lake Macalania there's a couple of new enemies. There's these wolves and ice flans. You can steal Arctic winds and sleeping powders off them, but it's kind of annoying because the wolves are so fast. But I was running low on both of these and I wanted some, so I stole a couple. Alright, I think I'm satisfied with my item inventory right now, because after I move forward with the story, I won't have access to these areas for quite a while. It's good to stock up. And then it was time to fight another boss fight. This one is pretty simple as well. There's this small drone enemy Negator. It disables all magic and summoning, but thankfully this doesn't apply to Riku's items, so we can use them freely. Use Chocobo Feather and Silver Hourglass on the boss to inflict slow on it. After this, just use Light Curtain on Rikku to get Protect. This will make it that Rikku almost always survives the enemy's attack. Lightning Marble deals really good damage, about 1.4 to 1.5k, because it's weak to lightning. This Gatling gun attack can sometimes kill Rikku, but it's very unlikely, and if it does, you can just apply the buffs again and heal her. The boss fight doesn't really last that long. He has, I think, 18,000 HP, and the lightning marbles make short work of him. Okay, what makes this boss special is that it's the only way we can get a weapon with alchemy ability on it, and we really want one for Tidus. He could use it for actually the last boss of this game, so sadly this is the only way to get it, but the drop rate is, I think, like 14% if you kill that boss with Tidus. So what I'm aiming to do here is to lower down the boss's HP low enough that Tidus can kill it in one hit. Tidus will deal about 60 damage with a normal weapon or like 90 damage with lightning strike weapon, so aim to get it in that range. Just use like Electro Marble deals about 900, Grenade deals 350, and you can also use the Kimarian Auron's attacks. It's really not that hard to get it down to that low value. It took me 13 tries to finally get the Lifesaver weapon, which isn't too bad in my opinion. These attempts don't take really long time. And so we arrive at the Macalania temple, and It's actually time for another boss again. Yay!
Seymour!
You came to punish me then?
So this boss has 3 different phases. The first phase is against Seymour and 2 Guado Guardians. What you want to do is bring in Rikku as soon as possible and use haste on her, slow down Seymour with silver hourglass and get rid of the Guados with petrify grenades. Also switch one of the characters into Auron to buff him up as well, and the other character for Tidus. We really want to buff Auron with haste and shell as well for the last phase of the fight. By using the talk command with Tidus, it will increase his strength by a lot, and if you equip the Brotherhood weapon, he will actually deal pretty respectable amount of damage, at least compared to his usual damage. You can also give Tidus haste to help him deal a little bit more damage in the second phase of the battle. Once you deal enough damage to Seymour, he will summon Anima and the fight will move on to phase 2. Poison Fang deals about 2000 damage as usual, so it's a really good way to deal damage. So Anima is the scary part of this battle. If he gets an overdrive, it's a game over, so you have to kill him before that happens. Thankfully he has only 2 moves. He uses boost and pain, and he alternates between these. So he starts off with boost. Whenever he's boosted, he takes 50% more damage, so that's your chance to deal a lot of damage to him. Poison Fang deals about 3000 right now, and I think Tidus hits for like 900 as well. Also, you need to switch out Auron for Yuna, because Yuna is much faster and you don't want Auron dying to pain, because you want to keep those buffs up for the phase 3. You also want to switch out Rikku whenever pain is coming, because you don't want her to die either. In the best case scenario, pain will target Wakka or Yuna, but as you can see here, it targeted Tidus, so now I have to revive him and he will lose the haste status. Anima has 18,000 HP, and with each Poison Fang dealing 2 to 3,000 damage, it doesn't take that many of them to kill him. You can use other items as well if you don't have Poison Fangs, but Poison Fangs make this fight a lot easier, so I don't know, I would rather steal more of those than use weaker items. And of course Pain hits Tidus again. To be honest, it's probably not worth using Chocobo Feathers on Tidus if he dies. Just revive him and move on with dealing the damage. Probably better that way. I was just really nervous here really because it was my first time fighting this boss and I wasn't really sure on what to do. So I kept using the Chocobo Feathers. I actually took a risk here and didn't switch Rikku out when Anima was about to use Pain. Luckily for me, Anima targeted Tidus again. I don't know why, but I used 2 Chocobo Feathers on Tidus here for some reason. It must be the nerves getting to me. This is a really intimidating boss. Alright, Anima is dead and it's time for the final phase. Final phase is just against Seymour and he will use multi-elemental spells. And that's why we buffed Auron before. I'm pretty confident that you can just skip Auron's buffs completely in the phase 1 because Seymour has only 6000 HP and you have plenty of turns, especially if you slow him to deal a lot of damage with Poison Fangs. Tidus does 600 I believe, Auron does 250. Yeah, like even if he gets a turn, the poison will kill him. And if you have buffed Auron, he can never kill Auron. Auron will always survive, so he can just revive them and the poison will eventually kill Seymour. All in all, this boss looks a lot more dangerous than it actually is, especially if you have Poison Fangs like me. I wanted a Silent Strike weapon from this battle, so I did do this fight 3 times. And then I finally got it for Yuna, which I was happy about. Now Yuna has Sleep and Silent Strike weapons. I think that wraps it up for this video. I will upload again in about a week for the next episode, so I'll see you guys back then. Bye bye!